Hello, hello, everybody. Grab a seat where you can. There's still a few. These people over here are just in the complete darkness. Moody. Hello, everyone. To those of you I haven't met, my name is Holly Hudson. I am the community manager here at INCUBATE, and I am so excited to welcome you to Class 18 Demo Day tonight, and also to everybody on the live stream at home. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a lot in store for you tonight. We've, of course, got our wonderful Class 18 startup founders pitching to you, and we've also got a range of guest speakers on the cards as well. I would first like to introduce Fran, who is one of our First Nations Pre-Accelerator Program alumna. Fran is a mother, an author, a filmmaker, a film producer, a former CEO and co-founder of a charitable organisation, amongst other things. She is a mover, she is a shaker, and her personal mantra is to be simply amazing. Please put your hands together for Fran.
So, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very pleased that I'm here as well. Thank you, Holly. And what Ollie said very, very simply is, yes, I'm a filmmaker. I'm an Aboriginal woman from the Yuin people, from the south coast of New South Wales. And my totem is the black duck. Or it could be a swan. Today I'm a swan, I've decided. And so my culture is very, very important to me. But it's also, to me, it's very important to everybody because we're all part of the planet. So what I'm going to ask you now is, you received a petrified stone as you walked in. Can you please take them out of the little bags? I just want to explain to you very briefly. They are all petrified wood. They are millions and millions of years old. They are crystallised, and they obviously are from the earth, and it's from the Australian earth. The fellow Robert Palmer is a lapidus that I work with. He actually went into all these different places around Australia, got the petrified wood, chopped it up, and I was watching him, what he was doing. It was quite amazing. It was really done with love. So everything, and he put them in little bags for me. Isn't that cute? That was so cute. Anyway, and he even made petrified wood earrings for me. I had to be part of it. It was lovely. So there was kindness. Everywhere I find, there's always kindness. So the petrified wood is for you. Each of them are unique, as all of you are unique. And what I say to people is that it is a piece of the earth that is so old, as many of you are so old. But do you know that? No, I'm not saying that. I never said this time. Could be many times. So what I want to say is that it's from the trees, and we're connected to the earth and the trees. We need the trees as much as they need us. We're constantly exchanging. And it's very much a tool that's for balancing, grounding yourself, to remind yourself to be present. We're very busy people, running around doing so many different things, we forget just to be still for a moment. And in my people's culture, in their tradition, is when the baby was in the mummy's tummy, obviously it's been fed by the mother, and it's got the nutrients and the sun and the water. And when the baby was born, they would take the cord and they would place it into the earth where that person, the baby, was born. But that's very much traditional. It's not obviously in Western Sydney, is it? We don't go start burying umbilical cords everywhere. But I love that whole thing, because that to me is that connection with Mother Earth as well. You've got your mother, and then we have Mother Earth. And the importance of Mother Earth is that she gives us the water, and she gives us the sun and the food and the oxygen, just as the trees do. So we're all basically part of everything, which is really, really important. So this little piece of wood is yours to keep. Like I said, they're all individual, just like you are. So I'm going to ask you first of all to stand up. Just have your little stone. And in my tradition, your belly button's called your bingy. So I'm going to get you just to hold your stone against your bingy. Very important place. Sometimes you think it's just a waste of space, that little hole there, isn't it? But really, it's very important. And so I just want you to, just for a moment, stand with your eyes closed. Be aware of your breath. And remember that you are connected to Mother Earth. And we're all keepers of this planet. Be aware of your feet. Be aware of the noises around you and your heartbeat. I'm going to ask you to breathe in deeply, breathe in through your nose and hold your breath. And breathe out slowly. Breathe in, and as you breathe in, pull all the power from Mother Earth into every cell of your body. Hold. And breathe out. And as you breathe out, let go of anything that worries you or upsets you or that you can't change. Breathe in. All the power from the earth. Letting go. Feel it going out your legs into the earth. Breathing in. Feel it going up your spine, tingling into your heart. Letting go. Being aware of your heart. Breathing in and your presence on the earth. Hold. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in and feeling the energy go through every part of your body. Up through your spine into your heart. Breathing out. Breathing in. Feel the warmth around you. Breathing out. Open your eyes. Who feels calmer? That's the objective. What I've given you is a calming technique. There's well over 200,000 to 300,000 people that have these stones. You are not to let anyone touch them. They belong to you. If you lose them, it means they've gone back to the earth. If someone touches them, like a child or someone touches them, you need to put them in some salt water and just leave them outside overnight, or ever how long it takes for it to evaporate. It is yours to put in your bra, put in your sock. I don't care where you put it. Got one in my pocket. A lot of people tell me that it's a calming technique. You can use it as a calming tool, a worry stone, or whenever you're nervous. Like I was nervous and I'm hands in the pocket and I'm there with my little stone. And it's also a balancing tool. It's also, people tell me it's good luck. So you want good luck? Have that stone. Take the stone and good luck's going to follow. And it's just to remind you of the presence of you being on this planet. And there is no one else like you on this planet. We share many cultures here, and we're all part of Australia. I think it's lovely that we're honouring our Indigenous people, but we are all part of that. We're all part of the fabric of this earth. So that's your little tool. Don't let anyone touch it. So if you would like to sit down. And you might find it might get really hot in your hands. It's amazing. I have people ringing me, I'm telling you years later. I remember someone from Channel 10, so really high executive, Fran, I haven't got the stone, I've lost it, can you send me another one? So I had to go and deliver it to Channel 10. I couldn't believe, like no one asked what I was doing. Anyway, so we're going to do the acknowledgement to country now. And if you like, just for a moment, you can keep your feet flat on the floor. You can close your eyes if you like, just to listen and acknowledge our land that we walk on. We stand and acknowledge those that have walked this land before us. We respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of country upon whose land we now sit. The Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, for those who walk with us and those whom will walk with us in the future. We respectfully acknowledge the many lands that you live on, that you work on, and that you love. They are all the fabric of who you are. We respect the traditional custodians and value their cultural heritage and spiritual connections across all the lands of Australia. These connections are evident in their ceremonies, the natural landmarks, sacred objects embedded in the landscapes, the waterways and the storytelling. Like ancient traditions, our traditions are passed down from generation to generation. We share the wisdom learned. It is our responsibility to honour this wisdom and draw from it to create a better world. We sincerely acknowledge and give thanks to our elders, past and present, and to your elders, past and present, for they are the knowledge holders and wise ones that have guided us, all of you, to where you are today. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. That was amazing. I feel really calm. I don't know about you guys. Next up, I would like to welcome David to the stage. Will I? No. No, I'd like to welcome Belinda Hutchinson to the stage, who is the Chancellor here at the University of Sydney, and she is going to formally welcome us here to Demo Day, if you'd like to come around.
Thank you, and I just would like to say thank you to Fran for wonderful, wonderful acknowledgement of country. I just thought that meditation to start was brilliant, and I actually feel so relaxed and so ready to really get into tonight. And Demo Day is one of my favourite events at the University of Sydney because it's all about innovation. And on our lands, the lands on which we meet today, innovation, creativity has been going on for tens of thousands of years. And that's what we want to continue to do tonight. So I want to pay my respects to the Gadi people and their elders, past, present and emerging. As I said, I really love this night. This night is one of my favourites on the university calendar. And it is because it really showcases the extraordinary students and staff we have at our university in terms of their entrepreneurship and in terms of their innovation. And to me, I find it totally inspiring, totally inspiring. You know, I've been here almost 10 years as a Chancellor, and every time I walk across our campus, every time I hear about our research, every time I speak to our students, I hear more and more inspiring things. And particularly in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation. And there's a story that I just wanted to share, which I think is such a great example of what's been happening here over the time since I've been here. When I joined the university about 10 years ago, I went to a Great Hall event and I heard a wonderful researcher called Michael Bowen talk about his research. And some of you may know Michael, others you may not. But Michael was talking about some research that he was doing in terms of oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone, and he was talking about the research that he wanted to do because he felt it actually had the ability to help people with drug and alcohol addiction. He thought this could be a real game changer. Michael's been working away for the last 10 years on that, and he's been working with Michael Kazau in our chemistry, School of Chemistry on that, and a whole range of other researchers. They started to have some real breakthroughs, and in 2018, they decided to set up a company called Kinoxis Therapeutics because they had found a single molecule therapeutic treatment that they felt would be absolutely a game changer in terms of opioid addiction. So they've been working away for the last 5 years, and just a couple of weeks ago it was announced that Boehringer Ingelheim wanted to invest $273 million in Kinoxis Therapeutics. And it's just such a great story. And I've been talking to Michael, I've been talking to the team ever since I've been here, and they've been on a journey. And they've been on a journey with industry partners. We were able to get investors to come in. But you know what's so exciting about that? This is a piece of research that we've been developing, that our people have been developing over the last 10 years. It's wonderful because it's coming to fruition. It's wonderful because the University of Sydney is a shareholder, which is fantastic. But you know what? It has the opportunity to really change the world in terms of mental health outcomes. because I know that a number of you will have read about the World Health Organization, that 1 in 8 people has some sort of mental health issues. And if we can help just some of those with this new treatment, if we can bring this to life, that'll be just amazing. So it's something that made me really proud, and I wanted to share that story with you because I'm not sure how many had heard that, but that's just one of the many stories that I hear at our university all the time. And it makes me so proud of what's happening here. And I just thought it was a great example before we start the INCUBATE demos tonight, because I thought, you know what, amongst some of these demos that we hear tonight, maybe one of them will be another Canoxus. Absolutely a possibility. Absolutely a possibility. So the other thing I wanted to say was oxytocin is known as the love hormone. You know what the demo day is all about? Demo days like this are all about connections, all about people getting together. So I hope the room following Fran's meditation is filled with love and connections so that we can really get together. Because you know what this is all about? This is about people working together. This is about people sharing their ideas, looking for connections, looking for help in terms of taking the next steps with their innovative idea. This is what tonight's all about. So I really want to say, on behalf of all of those who have joined us tonight, thank you so much for coming. We really need partners to work with our students. I want to thank our academic staff, our professional staff who work with our students, who work with our staff in terms of these ideas and helping bring them to life. And I'm really excited to hear more about what's going to be coming up on the agenda. So I'm not going to say any more, but I'm going to say I'm really excited about tonight, and I want to wish all of those who are going to be presenting tonight every success, not only tonight, but in the years to come, because as we know, so many of the INCUBATE ideas have gone on to do great things. Really great things, whether it be to help companies with sustainability in terms of being able to monitor and report and actually demonstrate real progress, to early detection of cancer and prevention of cancer. There's just so many ideas that I've heard about that I know have gone on to really great fruition. So good luck to everyone tonight, and thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone who's joined us tonight. Thank you.
Hello. Welcome to the 18th demo day for the INCUBATE program. My name is David Smith. Thank you. Now, we are the University of Sydney's flagship startup program, but I kind of feel that that's a cop-out when I explain it to people, because we're not in the startup business, we're in the talent business. And I want to give you an example. The other day, we were doing interviews for our pre-accelerator program, ProtoX. And I get on the interview, I start giving my spiel, and the founder says to me, "David, you have no idea who I am, do you?" And I admit I didn't. I had no idea who he was. He said, "My name's Ben. I work in the USU cafe downstairs. I make you breakfast." So there I was, mortified that I don't get the person who prepares my food. He then proceeded to give one of the best pitches I've ever heard in my life. I've heard thousands, and this was definitely top 5. But he didn't know where to start, and that is not new. We have a lot of talent here that just don't know how to get started, so they don't get started. It could be the guy serving coffee in the USU cafe. It could be the lecturer who, for the last 4 years, has had an idea they want to sit on. It could be the first-year student who doesn't know what she doesn't know. Or it could be the former academic sitting at home on a disability pension who wants to share his knowledge. Now, we have a very diverse group tonight because we have a very, very clear idea that innovation doesn't have a gender, it doesn't have a school, it doesn't have age. It can be for anyone. Now, part of our demographic tonight is 4 of the 9 startups are actually involved with some sort of research within the University of Sydney, 5 have a founder born overseas, and 6 have a female co-founder. We also have 2.5 incubabies. So we had 2 babies born during this program, and we've got another one on the way, so baby Kwan is currently 0.5. Talent is everywhere, and we want to embrace it. So let's get started with introducing it. Our first startup tonight is DeFi High Robotics. We live in a concrete jungle. There is an entire industry there to keep us safe from this concrete jungle. Our founder tonight, Dr. Abby Whitten, is disrupting this industry. Abby.
Thank you very much, everyone. Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Abby Whitten. I'm from DeFi High Robotics, and tonight I'm going to talk to you about what we're doing in the facade inspection business. Sometimes when you walk through the city, you may glance upwards and see people dangling off the sides of buildings. Sometimes they're window cleaning, but sometimes they are inspecting the facade. They're looking for defects, for cracks in the concrete before they fall off onto the pedestrians below. They might also be looking for other defects like scratches and nicks and problems with the window gaskets that cause leaks. But there are problems with how this is done today. It is risky working at heights. It is necessarily incomplete because they only do a 20% sample each time. And they're taking photos of problems. They are not taking photos of not problems. If you decide to book in a facade inspection today, you may have to wait up to 12 weeks because there's a global shortage of facade engineers and the entire workflow process is broken. They send out PDF reports with no version control. There's no way to track a defect. How to close the loop on this defect has now been remedied. And yeah, there are other problems as well. But if it all goes terribly wrong, there can be criminal consequences as well. So you can group these problems together. You've got risky data capture and a broken workflow. So we decided to tackle both of these. Safe data capture, smarter workflow. We started with the Inspector Bear, the building envelope access robot. This is designed to take photographs of everything, like problems and not problems. But sending somebody 4,000 images of the side of the building turns out to be less attractive. So we've got the Inspector platform. We take all of those photographs, we put them in a model, we run some artificial intelligence over the top of them to look for the defects, and then invite the facade inspector in to help validate those defects and write up their reports. Here's a video of the robot in action. This is a time lapse. It normally travels at about 6 meters per second. The thrusters, it's roof mounted, it's portable. It's got a very clever thruster system on it that makes it relatively stable and steady in the wind. And it's a robot. It's cool, right? It's cool. So we started this back in 2020. My partner Melinda and I have a ropes access business. We do window cleaning. We were looking for a robot to import that goes over the sides of the buildings. And failing to find one, we decided to build it ourselves. We started off at CSIRO's Connect at Linfield program in the Collaboration Hub. We won the MVP grant and then went on to do the Physical Sciences Fund in 2021. We started to build out a team and managed to make it into the top 5 of the Genesis program on Tuesday, and now in INCUBATE here today. At the beginning of this year, we had our Bear building envelope access robot working well, and we decided to prioritize the facade inspection payload. Now, this robot can carry any one of a number of payloads, but we're doing the facade inspection one first. And since joining the INCUBATE program, we've had significant traction. We've started our first paid job today. And in the last month, we've had 2 angel investors join us on our journey. We're working with global and national property owners, facilities managers, and facade engineers. These logos represent people that we're either working with or who are officially on our wait list. This is a map of where the tall buildings are. So many tall buildings. In fact, 1.3 million of them. Each job is worth about $10,000 to us to capture the data and then analyze it. If we get 10,000 buildings at $10,000 each, That makes us a $100 million business. That's 200 robots, doing one inspection a week. It feels, you add it up, all the countries, city by city, it makes sense. We do have other use cases, vertical use cases. We can look at facade integrity during construction. We've been talking to a lift manufacturer and some property owners about lift shaft remediation or modernization projects, and we've even started to explore mining. We are raising a seed round. We're going to close it on the 30th of June because I want to focus on generating revenue after this. If this opportunity speaks to you, please come and see me after the event, but do connect with me on LinkedIn. It's always nice to have a larger network. Thank you.
Our second startup tonight is one that is very, very close to my heart. 6 years ago, I had a serious brain injury. After all the hospital visits, after all of the surgeries, getting back into the real world is a really, really scary thing. Dr. Martin Raffaele has spent his life trying to understand the brain and making getting into the workplace easier for people like me. Dr. Martin Raffaele.
Hi, my name's Dr. Martin Raffaele. We at Inclusive undo the stigmas that force people either into silence or exclusion when it comes to living with a neurodiversity condition. We are creating a workplace environment that is for everybody. Now, for the people who are here today, of the 120 of you, how many of you realise that 1 in 10 are going to experience a seizure at some time in your life? That 1 in 26, or maybe 10 of the people watching on live stream, are going to experience repetitive seizures and be diagnosed with epilepsy. Because the truth is, I am not alone. When I was in my early 20s, I was working with the Australian Opera, and I was on the Sydney Opera House and performing away. And then I suddenly started experiencing seizures. I had one during a rehearsal, and the head vocal coach came up to me and said, "Listen, go and see a doctor and come back when the seizures have stopped." That was the end of my career as an opera singer. Although I had 2 brain surgery operations to try and control my epilepsy, and I started studying at the University of Sydney in the field of opera, it was the inability to control those seizures that saw me need to change the focus of my studies from music to the brain. I wanted to understand, why was I experiencing these difficulties and nobody explaining it to me? Because there is such a gap out there, and that's what creates fear in society. Now, I've had an area of my brain removed that's the size of a pear from my left temporal lobe. But actually, I've gone and studied 4 degrees at this university, which includes a PhD on brain surgery rehabilitation. Now, I might look like a healthy individual, but the truth is, I still experience at least 1 seizure a week, mostly nocturnally, while sleeping. But that's a lot better than 7 a week that I used to have before the surgeries. So it has not been an easy journey. I have spent the last 25 years both learning and teaching about living with neurodiversity. I have in fact created course modules for the Faculty of Medicine and Health. And this is why I created Inclusive. Inclusive is so important for creating greater diversity, equality and inclusion. Society is finally prepared to just stop and recognise the people around them who have a debilitating condition and what skills they have and what they can offer. I mean, you might notice that I'm using cards at the moment, but after hearing my story, does it really matter that I actually am using a prompt that'll be my left temporal lobe if I still have that? It helps. So you see, it is actions such as this that good people allow for me to do that see me thrive and are important for me. I have been able to launch a series of videos under the brand Inclusive, where I educate employers and their colleagues on how to work with people with neurodiversity. I have gained a number of clients, this all being based, as I said earlier, on a case-based learning course modules that I created for the Faculty of Medicine and Health. And it is my life's mission now to make sure that every company has this opportunity to recognise this opportunity to work with people like this. So my ask of you today is that if you know someone who has a neurodisability, please reach out. I'll be happy to talk to you. To any educator or any employer who is looking to actually open a wide range of dedicated neurodiverse individuals who can create a new perspective to your business, let's talk. Through speaking engagements and consultations, I want to help you create a better business. My name is Dr. Martin Raffaele, and Inclusive undoes those stigmas that force people either into silence or exclusion when living with a neurodiversity.
That's a hard one to follow. Now, we've all worked jobs that we hated, and then we leave and we're like, oh, I really wish I could have brought a few people with me. Because a lot of jobs are about loving the people rather than the job. Now, the team at Squadron are here to help people own their experience with work, to work on the jobs that they want to work on with the people they want to work with. Jason Bostani.
Times are tough. Work has never before been more uncertain. People are looking for change. Over the last few years, we've seen highly skilled product builders that have spent years honing their craft either quit or, unfortunately, have been laid off. Google engineers that help build the maps that some of you use to get here today. Data analysts at Meta that helped architect the personalized news feeds some of you may be scrolling through in between our pitches. Product designers that have made booking that Uber home after having one too many red wines at a pitch night feel completely seamless. With over 70 million people around the world falling into this category since 2021, chances are that you or someone that you know has been impacted by this state of flux. And if you're one of the lucky few outliers, we're sure you've seen the headlines. The Great Resignation, the Great Restructuring, the Great Reconsideration, the Great whoever knows what's next. The cracks are clearly starting to show with the broken social contract between employee and employer. Hi, I'm Jason, and this is our founding squad, made up of my co-founder Simona, our CTO Elias, and our product designer Antonio. We are all part of the growing statistic that have fallen out of love with the traditional confines of full-time work and are looking for an alternative. So what is it that we all want? Well, we've spent the last 12 months interviewing over 700 product builders and technology leaders, and 3 things are clear. The first, we want the autonomy and flexibility to choose the project work that we're most truly passionate about. 2, we aren't willing to compromise on connection and want to continue to build in teams with other like-minded peers. 3, macroeconomic factors have in fact accelerated the need for businesses to continue to build life-changing products better and faster than ever, despite fewer resources. This is why we are building Squadron. We're building the tools and infrastructure to power a new era of work. First, we're starting with community. We are proud to announce today the launch of an immersive paid platform for seasoned professionals in technology who want to chart their own path together. Our members are welcome into an exclusive online space to connect with a dynamic community of like-minded professionals and learn from seasoned veterans. The first 4 weeks of every intake will focus on setting our members up for success. Through curated programming and workshops with trusted mentors, we will demystify the process of going independent and provide the foundational knowledge and skills to pivot from just another number at a larger organization to a true independent trailblazer. From there, we help our members form cross-functional project teams, or squads as we like to call them, based on aligned goals, compatible skill sets, and shared values. We continue to engage our members with regular development, invite-only social events, and a pipeline of project opportunities with our corporate partners. But this is honestly really just the beginning. Imagine we had our engineer, our data scientist, and our product designer from earlier on, working on the next must-have app in the same squad. Now, wouldn't that be a dream team? So we've already started working on a tool for forward-thinking businesses that want to access these highly skilled fractional squads to help accelerate their own product development. We now have over $700,000 worth of projects in our pipeline and a growing network of corporate partners, from mission-led startups like some of the guys are presenting today, all the way through to ASX 200 listed businesses, all of which are excited with the proposition of being able to access world-class, tailor-fit squads quickly and effortlessly in the one platform. We are currently at an inflection point. We have a real opportunity to disrupt the way people work and how businesses build product. Those that fail to pivot will be left behind. So if you're a seasoned builder looking to join over 600 people already existing in our community, from engineering, design, product and growth, head over to joinsquadron.io and apply for our program to take your first step towards career independence. If you're a business leader looking to partner with us or be part of our client beta, email the team at hello@joinsquadron.io. Alone is hard. Together is better. Join Squadron. Thank you all.
Now, I'm going to preface this by saying Tim wrote it. Tim Baines is a self-proclaimed physics nerd turned sustainability geek. He thinks carbon data is cool, and he thinks by the end of this demo, you will too. Dr. Tim Baines.
Thank you. Thanks, David. No, nothing wrong with being a physics geek. Hi, I'm... Oh, great, there's others in the audience. I'm Tim from Footprint Lab. You may have seen that climate action, doing something about climate change, is a bit of a hot topic. You can get green super funds, you can get zero carbon shoes, you can even apparently get a zero carbon steak. And whether you believe that or not is exactly the point of what I'm going to talk about. Because first question, what's the carbon footprint of this thing I bought? Second question is credibility. Where'd you get that number from? That's where Footprint Lab comes in. We are the expert source of current, credible, and commercially ready carbon footprint data. Now, a lot of startups will say, we have the world's best app, the world's best this, that, but no, really. We have the world's best carbon footprint data. We really do. And we know this because it's already being used by the United Nations to measure progress on sustainable development goals, used by CSIRO, used by the Australian government in the Climate Active Scheme. These are really great public good uses of the data. What Footprint Lab wants to do is bring this to the business world, to make it commercially ready. And we've already worked with some of our customers there who are working with accounting platforms and banks. And actually banks and the finance industry is interesting. They are really keen on carbon disclosure. There's nearly 400 financial investment firms out there signed up to the Partnership on Carbon Accounting Financials. They manage 90 trillion in assets, and they want to bring carbon footprint reporting and disclosure forward to 2026. So forget government regulation and 2030 and targets. No. They want to bring it really well forward. And in case you missed that, they manage 90 trillion in assets worldwide. That's about the same as global GDP in 2021. This is in assets, but nevertheless, that's a lot of money. And the reason they're interested in carbon accounting is they have very long-lived investments, billions of dollars, and if they're investing in a business and that business is not on that carbon action train that's well and truly left the station, then that business or that investment is a financial risk, and financial risk is something investors pay a lot of attention to. So 90 trillion is driving carbon accounting sooner than government. Unsurprisingly, there is quite an industry that's come up in the last few years to serve this need, to provide emissions management, carbon accounting, consultancy, advice, whatever. $12 billion industry worldwide. These are not our competitors. These are our customers. And the thing about this is they all need data, and there isn't a lot of good, credible primary data sources worldwide. So to give you the picture of the full ecosystem and where we sit, millions, maybe billions of businesses and people wanting to do something about climate change, thousands of these carbon advisories, emissions managements and accountants wanting to show them how. Great. But really in the world, there's only about 3 major global data sets. One of them is more about macroeconomic policy. One of them is based in Europe. It's really good if you're in Europe. And one of them is right here at the University of Sydney. And that's the one Footprint Lab is commercializing. So, why do we have this special relationship? Let me show you the team, the founding team. I'm the one on the left. Between us, 20 years of experience researching, developing, using this data for sustainable development programs. My co-founder, Janet, sitting down the front here, is the better-looking right-hand side. And, Footprint Lab, young company, but deep experience. And a big shout out to the University of Sydney, Rupal here from Sydney Knowledge Hub, where we have a couple of nice desks, INCUBATE, and also the University of New South Wales supports us as well. So a lot of deep experience collaborating with these people, knowing about the data and how to use it for business. What we want to do is not make another app, which is, lots of people make app, but we actually want to concentrate on the data. Our product is the data. Hundreds of products for over 160 countries around the world. We can customize things. We want to give people information on where it comes from, transparency and reliability of the data. And not just carbon, that's hot right now, but we can do other sustainability dimensions as well. So it's difficult to make this stuff. It's about the emissions, all the emissions in a supply chain per dollar you spend on a product. But that makes it actually quite easy to use, at least conceptually here. You have a purchase, it's codified in your bank, maybe accounting software, procurement for a business. Let's say it's $100 on clothing in this example. We have that emissions factor for that item, that product you've just bought. And so your expense times our emissions factor gives you the carbon footprint for that. And like I say, 160 countries, hundreds of products. So we have customers, we've won a grant. We want to get more customers and grow. We might want to talk to investors. But if you are also a business or you invest in a business that's in fintech, open banking, procurement, accounting software, it could be used in a lot of places, please talk to Footprint Lab.
The blockchain space started with a purpose, but that purpose got lost a long time ago in all the noise. Now, founders like Julian are bringing purpose back to the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Julian Kwan.
crypto, the blockchain, Web3. These words evoke both fear and opportunity. It's a place where people make fortunes and where people lose big. It's a difficult place to invest in. That's why we're building SafeForge, an optimized, diversified crypto portfolio that is the best place to store, save, and grow your wealth in Web3. Because the blockchain is revolutionary. Now, many of you here today might be a little bit skeptical about that claim, but if you dig deeper into the technology, you will find that it is truly powerful. Blockchain technology has or will lead to massive efficiencies in almost every sector of our financial ecosystem. Polygon allows you to transfer money to any wallet in the world for under 5 cents. Uniswap gives 24-hour liquidity to even the smallest, most thinly traded tokens. And Compound allows you to borrow money from people around the world, taking away the middleman and invalidating the need for banks. The question is not whether this technology is revolutionary. The problem is, how do we invest in it? Because most of us don't have enough time to research the latest trends and tips. Perhaps you might want to try and time the market. But usually what happens is you end up buying high and selling low. And in desperation, you might turn to one of the hundreds of self-proclaimed crypto gurus on the Twitter space. But then you don't know who to trust. Investing in this space is difficult. We're building a better way, a simple way to invest into a single, optimized, diversified portfolio. We're building a crypto portfolio that improves by itself over time, where experts from around the world can contribute ideas to the portfolio, and if it is good, if their ideas are good, be rewarded for it. And we've got 3 layers to ensure that only the best ideas come through. First, proposals must pass our AI-driven risk model. Second, proposers will have to risk some of their own money to test the strategy. And then after that, there is a 6-month testing period before anything touches our portfolio. And so you can see that only the very best ideas make it to our portfolio. So where are we now? We've built an experienced team. Our team has background and experience from Google, Microsoft, Huawei, BlackRock, Yale, and even the University of Sydney. We've taken the best from academia, TradFi, and crypto. We've been growing really, really strongly. We launched our alpha with a portfolio. We took 80 portfolios, combined them together, and came up with a portfolio that's outperformed Ethereum by 7% over the last 12 months, with a 30% reduction in risk over Ethereum. And we've launched this portfolio as an alpha, and currently we have over 60,000 Australian dollars in that portfolio. We're building more of our product. We want our product to allow you to invest in our token with one click. And in addition, we are building the ability to invest automatically, monthly, so that you can grow your portfolio over time. But our vision is much larger than that, because we are on the precipice of a huge financial revolution, something that is as large as the first banks, the first stock exchange, the first index fund. We believe that in this blockchain-centric financial future, there needs to be a way for regular people to access the financial benefits of this space, and we believe that SafeForge can be this vehicle. So what are my asks? Well, the QR code up here will link you to a form that will get you in touch with me, and I think you fall probably in one of these 4 categories. And so whatever category you fall in, I would love to have a chat with you. To the crypto curious, people who aren't in cryptocurrency, I ask you to explore this technology. To the people who are already investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum, I ask you to just consider our portfolio. To those who think this portfolio might be, project might be strong and want to contribute your skills to this portfolio, lend us your skills and you can own a part of this portfolio. And to those angels or VCs who see the same future as us, let's talk, because we're in the early stages of setting up our seed round. The future of finance is coming. Get involved.
Our next founder, Sue Park, is like many people in the health industry. She knows that things could be done better. So her and her team at Olive Health have stepped up to the challenge to help patients manage their medications better. Sue Park.
Hi, my name is Sue, and if you're living in Balmain, I'm your friendly local pharmacist. And this is Eve. Like many of my patients, she's taking multiple medications, and she struggles to keep on top of everything she needs to stay healthy. And this really hit me when I attended one of our weekly knitting sessions, and Eve brought out this basket full of medications and said, "Sue, I don't know what these are for. Like, can you sort them out for me?" So she said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And soon I realized a lot of them were duplicates, meaning same medications, just branded differently. And many of them were not even appropriate for her. You see, patient care in pharmacy is slightly more complex than how you would imagine. We don't just grab the box off the shelf and put a sticker on it, although it looks like it. It involves making sure your medications are appropriate and safe for you. Checking if you're getting real repeat scripts regularly or if it's causing you any harm. And for some of my patients, I am the only support they have, and I am Eve's last line of defense. Unfortunately, Eve is not alone. In Australia, we spend $10.4 billion every year on top 3 conditions that could have been managed better or prevented if our patients had an opportunity to manage their medications more appropriately. In US, situations are worse. They're spending $500 billion every year on hospitalization and death related to poor medication adherence. But let's cut the dollar sign for now and talk about people, because Olive Health is all about people, and healthcare should be all about people. Between 2020 and 2021, 65% of Australians were provided with government-funded medications. And the chances are 1 in 10 of you sitting right here are looking out for your loved ones as primary caregivers. And many more of you are probably doing the same job, just as secondary or non-legal guardian. And this is why we created Olive Health. We wanted our patients to live healthier. Olive Health is a pocket pharmacy that helps pharmacists with the medication delivery to remove the barriers of access. We provide apps and software for patients themselves, but also everyone involved in care, including pharmacists, doctors, family members, and professional caregivers. So everyone is up on the same page, managing one person's medication. Because we truly believe that good patient care starts at home. So we thought then why not bring it closer? For patients, we help them build healthy, independent relationships with pharmacy by helping them keep track of their medications. We remind you, we deliver the medications to you, we even record your progress. We also let you communicate with everyone involved in care on one platform, ultimately simplifying your whole medication regimen. Well, that helps Eve, but what about for me? For pharmacists, we reduce the costs associated with extra staffing, and we also stabilize their revenue scheme by offering subscription-based medication order, medication delivery service, providing them with adherence data, and we connect them with potential clients. With Olive Health, get actively involved in your care. Have your medication information on your hand and not anyone else's. Chat with your pharmacist when you need to and communicate with them and check the progress all in real time. Also, organize all your scripts in one place rather than going through your bag for 20 minutes in pharmacy only to realize they expired or you left them at home. And of course, I can't do any of these without my team and Ben, my co-founder, who's sitting right there. So Ben has a decade experience in hardware and software prototyping. And due to all their hard work and dedication, within the last 3 months, we've raised $60,000 that's going towards MVP production, general structuring, and legal stuff. We've also partnered up with multiple pharmacies. They are very keen to work with us, and we are having in-depth conversation with a company that has 77K customer base. Keeping our society safe and healthy with simplest solution. That's our mission, because no matter what anyone tells you or what I tell you, looking after yourself and your loved ones will always be your passion, not mine. But keeping them safe is always going to be ours. And we're looking for a very strategic angel investor who shares the same vision. So if you're that person, I'd love to chat with you. Thank you.
Our next startup joined our pre-accelerator program, Proto X, last year. They didn't have a name, they didn't have a brand, they didn't have a website, but they had 200 paying customers for their products. They are using food to give us back our most important asset, time. Jenny Zhang.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Zhang. I'm one of the co-founders of Fortune Cook It. And here, Patrick and Carson sitting over there, they're my co-founders. And if you're wondering why I wasn't included in this picture, that's because when the photo was taken, I was just a customer of Fortune Cook It. I vividly remember back in July 2022, less than a year ago, I was on a business trip from Brisbane to Sydney with my then 18-month-old baby when my husband was shooting a movie in town. So between all the meetings and the emails and the play dates, I had barely any time to breathe, let alone to cook. So I was hangry all the time and just overall feeling very stressed because if you don't want to cook, there really aren't that many options for you. Well, let's take a look at this. If you order takeaway on a daily basis, it can get really expensive really quickly. And with the traditional meal kits, the ones that comes in a box with just the ingredients and the recipes, well, they still take very, very long to prepare. And the ready-made meals, well, I'm not sure about you. For me, if it comes out of microwave, it still makes me feel like I'm eating leftovers. So not something you want to have on every single day. So you can imagine, I was very skeptical when I saw Patrick's post on WeChat Moment. It said, delicious, authentic, fresh Chinese food in less than 10 minutes. Just sounds too good to be true, right? Well, the next day when the meal kits arrived, everything was nicely packaged, clearly labeled, and the most important of all, everything was prepped. That means no washing, no cutting, no peeling, no marinating, none of that. Just throw all the ingredients and pre-prepped sauces in the wok and voila. The first dish that I tried was this garlic beef. Now, it took me less than 8 minutes to prepare. And don't be fooled by the amount of garlic in that dish. It actually tastes really, really good. So good, I poured myself a glass of wine for the first time in a long while. And the same night, I ordered another 6 dishes for my parents to try. Now, my mom is a very good cook, so naturally, she's very picky about what she eats. But she told me she thoroughly enjoyed those dishes. In fact, she brought 2 of those dishes to a dinner party. And all the uncles and aunties wanted to find out where she got them from. So I ended up starting a group chat for all of them so they could all order from Patrick. Now, my story isn't exactly unique with fortune cookie customers, other than the part I became a co-founder. But most of our customers were repeat customers. 17% of them order on a weekly basis. 30% of them ordered on a fortnightly or a monthly basis. And 92% of them were very satisfied with our products, with 40% of them actively recommended our products to their friends and family. And so far, we've raised $110K in investment. And with that funding, we're able to secure a much bigger and better commercial kitchen. And we purchased some machineries can automate some of the prepping processes. So Patrick and Carson can spend less time in the kitchen and more time doing what they do best. For Carson, that is to come up with new and delicious recipes every single week because we saw significant uptake every time we had new dishes. And for Patrick, that is continue to build the business, expand our sales channels, and to secure strategic partnerships. And we want to continue to build our community. We want to build a strong community with members who not only share our taste, but also our values. Because at Fortune Cook It, we believe food isn't just a physiological need, but an emotional one. We eat for comfort, for companionship, to celebrate, and to communicate, to say, thank you, I'm sorry, I miss you, and I love you. Because food is love, food is adventure, and food is home. We want to help our customers to create life-enriching food memories. And we want to change the conversations around the dinner table from perhaps, this to, thank you so much for making dinner tonight because honestly, I was so tired. I really needed a break. And my grandmother used to make this dish. And I really miss her. You see, in the end of the day, sometimes it's not even about the food. It's about the opportunity to connect with your loved ones, past, present, and future. So tonight, we sincerely invite all of you to try Fortune Cook It, and even just once. And if we can make your life just a little bit easier and happier, it will be our absolute pleasure to serve you at the dinner table. And here it is. So that's our QR code to our Instagram. For the first 50 people that follow our account tonight, you'll get a special discount to use for the first purchase when we relaunch later this month. And if you want to find out more about our products, we'll be waiting. Carson and Patrick, they will be waiting in our booth and show you some of our meal kits. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you at the booth. Thank you.
Up the back corner there, I think he's on an iPad because he's tired of hearing me talk, is my 8-year-old son. As a father to an 8-year-old, I worry about what's coming next because the teenage years are bearing down on me. Our Futures Institute helps parents, teachers, students, and schools make better lifestyle decisions. Ken Wallace.
Thank you, David, and INCUBATE. It's been a great experience being part of your program for Rishi and I over the last 8 or so weeks. And a great honour to be up on stage with so many co-founders and companies that it's been great working with them. My name's Ken Wallace. I'm the CEO of Our Futures Institute. We are a not-for-profit education technology company. And in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to explain to you how we can significantly reduce the harm and impact of drugs and alcohol on young people and help improve their mental health. Gen Z or iGen, there's lots of them. They're everywhere. Probably why I constantly feel so old these days, but they are the largest cohort of young people the world has ever seen. They make up 30% of the population, 34% of the workforce, and 100% of our future. But they are under significant pressure. 1 in 4 will meet the criteria for a substance use or mental health disorder in any year, and half are going to develop that while they're at school. So what we need, what the world needs, is we need to empower young people with the skills and the education they need to deal with anxiety, to deal with drugs and alcohol issues. And what we need is prevention programs that are evidence-based, effective, and scalable. And that's where we come in. We're Our Futures. We are one of the world's leading prevention programs for high school students around anxiety, mental health issues, drugs and alcohol. We have incredible evidence. We have programs that have got 7 years post-program delivery still impacting. We are founded here at Sydney University, across the road at the Matilda Centre, with some pioneering research by the team there. The Institute was established with funding from the Paul Ramsay Foundation. And really our goal as an institute is to take these programs, these award-winning programs, and scale them to high school students in Australia and beyond. And we've started our journey. We've got hundreds of schools. Teachers love it because they don't have to teach the content. Students relate to it. We're growing organically. We've got thousands of students who have already gone through the program. But you're probably wondering, what are they, right? So what are the programs? So it's e-learning. We have stories that are cartoon-based, so they're characters that are the same age as the students. So it's year 8 cartoon characters telling the stories. And the stories follow students in particular years as they deal with anxiety issues or drugs and alcohol and, parties and all that kind of stuff. And it's a harm minimisation approach. So it's not say no to drugs or say no to alcohol. It's about when you're in these environments, or if you're suffering from anxiety, or if you develop substance use issues, what do you do? How do you look after your mates? How do you stay safe? How do you say no? How do you get help? That's what we're all about. Sorry, I've gone backwards. There we go. So our programs cover mental health, alcohol, cannabis, MDMA, psychostimulants and emerging drugs. And vaping. Vaping's a big one. We've had the Federal Health Minister announce a ban on vaping and lots of funding for education programs, which is great. And we're currently running one of the world's largest vaping education trial with the Matilda Centre. And we'll have results on that towards the end of the year, and we'll probably have a program out for schools next year. So what does it look like if we get 1.5 million students to access our programs? Well, we'd have 120,000 fewer adolescents binge drinking every year and 1,000 fewer hospitalisations, and we'd be on the way to reducing future addiction from substance use by 80%. We want to be global because this is a global problem. We've got, we're working with countries around the world to localise the content. We're working in Germany, in Asia, North America, and Africa. And when we localise, it's not just about some of the stories in Australia where one of the characters is playing AFL, and in London it might be soccer, and Canada it might be ice hockey. It's also what they look like. So this is one of the Year 8 alcohol adventures, the old trolley ride. And this is the Hong Kong manga version, which is pretty cool. My daughter was particularly unimpressed that she got the Australian version because she likes manga. So that's a pretty good rendition there. This is the team. So we have world-leading researchers behind these programs. And Rish and myself, we've got decades of experience in technology companies and startups and specifically education. So we have capability and capacity. So that's how we're going to significantly reduce the harm and impact of drugs and alcohol on young people and help improve their mental health. So that's what we're doing. This is what you can do. So everyone here probably knows a teacher or knows someone in education, a principal, someone in the Department of Education. So if you don't mind, grab your phones, click that QR code, an email will pop up, and all you have to do is put in their email address and you'll forward it on. So share it. You can also support us. So we have establishment funding from the Paul Ramsay Foundation, but we're always interested in hearing from other people that would help fund our program and help us scale. So there you go. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers.
And our last startup for the night is here to solve the global supply chain crisis. Now, what if I told you the solution to this crisis is inside all of us? It's inside of you and it's inside of me. For more on this, Dr. Gustavo Sequeira.
Hello, and thank you, David, for the intro. My name is Dr. Gustavo de Sequeira. I am the Chief Passionate Officer at Biomega. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. So I think just very quickly, before we end the night, which is a big responsibility for me. So Biomega is a company that I'm building to become a platform company. And a platform that will use probiotic bacteria to obtain ingredients and bring them to market. These ingredients, they have a very specific purpose, which is to help address the ingredient shortage and sustainability issue in the world, starting with Australia. But just before we go ahead and to become a little bit more specific, what is an ingredient? So an ingredient is a very tiny part of a molecule, either structural or a constitutive ingredient or an active principle that we use to engineer and formulate a finished product. This is an ingredient. In our case, the first ingredient we're working with is called omega-3. And the main reason is because omega-3 is obviously very important for all of us, but right now it's largely obtained from the killing of fish. And this is the part that is actually not cool. It's not fantastic. We're talking about animals literally disappearing from our ocean. And unless we do something about it, that's what's going to happen. So we're talking about a problem that is actually much bigger because we're looking at 30% waste of seafood globally right now, which doesn't leave us with enough fish material to make that decision between omega-3 nutraceuticals or food for human consumption. And this is where we're getting. How are we addressing this issue? We have learned that Australian probiotic bacteria coming from specific environments, like David mentioned, have the remarkable ability to give us omega-3, but also omega-6, omega-7s, and omega-9s, some of which don't even exist in market yet, but they play a role and they have a function in maintaining our health. And the interesting thing is that we learned how we're going to modulate Australian probiotic bacteria to give us these ingredients for using nutraceuticals, but also in therapeutics and personalized medicines. And that's where things become very, very interesting. The question is, why would we work with probiotic omegas? Because it's great. In addition to this, it is sustainable, scalable, safe. It can be produced in Australia to supply through our market-leading brand partner in only 11 weeks using fermentation, which is then delivered to our body in a very innovative way called membrane fragments. This is something very catchy, very innovative that belongs to us in Australia, where our goal is to replace fish-derived omega-3 in 5 years of commercialization. It's a very ambitious task, but it's possible because we have an amazing group, a tremendous team. We have IP in place that protects the technology, the platform, the next directions, but we also have support from industry and obviously from academia. So just to clarify specifically about the function of omega-3 for our body, this molecule is absolutely crucial to protect our entire body, particularly our heart. And what happens, as you can see in the graph, is omega-3 interposing itself between the membranes of heart cells. And the same thing happens throughout our entire body, to the point where omega-3 is so important that the market for omega-3 alone, without talking about the others, surpasses $2 billion annually, with 44% of the supply going to the US right now. So there is a demand, there is a market, there is a necessity to also replace the existing status quo ingredient with something Australian. Another important reason for this is because right now we have 4 million Australians struggling with some form of cardiovascular disease. And that's scary. And I'm talking about 1 in 6 amongst us here. Where in America, for example, the same reason leads to 1 in 5 deaths. And this gives us even more reason to get cracking and do something about it. So our company, like I said at the very beginning, is a platform entity. We obviously were starting by using Australian probiotic bacteria, particularly their membranes, as small fragments to deliver innovative omega, tissue-specific, but with a number of therapeutic properties and nutraceutical as well. But not only. We have a plan to go beyond and become the next unicorn born at the University of Sydney. And this is possible, and obviously we count on your help to achieve this. So just to illustrate and moving towards the end, what do we actually have to demonstrate? A lot of data, credible data that has been generated with industry, with academia since 2018, validated in different ways, which now we would like to continue before coming to market. So I count on your help. Let's work together, bring it to market, probiotic functional ingredients with Australian provenance. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Class 18. Now, last year, we waited till all the speeches were over to get a group photo, and Eddie from Urban ended up missing out because he was back at his stand already. So I'm going to ask all the startups to come up now for the group photo before they go to their booths. And Eddie, I'm going to invite you up so you can join one this year. Come on, guys, we practice this. Melinda, she's making me call you. All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody. And I just want to say a quick thank you to our community, to all of you for being a part of our community. And of course, we would not be where we are today without the help of you all. I wanted to say a quick thank you to our mentors, our entrepreneurs in residence, our ecosystem partners, advisory board members, and of course, our predecessors. Thank you all so much. Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage Emily Bobus. She is one of our Class 15 alumna of our INCUBATE program and the founder of Compass IoT. Please welcome her to the stage.
Okay, cool, this thing is on. So hi everybody. My name is Emily Bobus. I'm one of the founding directors or founders of Compass IoT. What is Compass IoT? So we are a road intelligence company or startup, depending on who is asking. Thanks, Nina. I think that was you. So we use data from connected vehicles to help transport professionals build better, safer cities. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how did you know you wanted to be a founder? And the answer is I didn't. And I think part of that is because the way that founders are often represented is these amazing people that are really great at public speaking and super extroverted and like they know how to communicate well, and that only that unicorns are the people that build unicorns, really. Didn't resonate with me at all. So then how did I start Compass? So this is actually us at the Genesis program, which is another great program, FYI. And so the way that my co-founder and I met was at the University of Sydney. So we're both University of Sydney alumni. And the whole reason I got into entrepreneurship was because I was trying to avoid writing a 40% essay. And so I did what any reasonable, sound, level-headed person does. I ran away and I applied for a scholarship program. And if you get on this scholarship program, you don't have to write the essay. There's 4 spots, 4 people applied, I got on the trip. So that's where I met my co-founder. And so before we started Compass, we actually had a startup called Airbike, which actually still operates at the University of Sydney. It's a bike sharing startup. Really, really nice foray into the world of mobility data and speaking to governments. So that's kind of how we got our start. And I actually found our booklet, guys. I pulled it up out of the recesses of the internet. So we were class 15 in 2020. And what we had listed as our achievements is that we had $100,000 in annual reoccurring revenue in the last 3 months. We had a New South Wales MVP grant. And it was also the very first time that I'd ever had to pitch at all, let alone pitch about Compass. Granted, it was during COVID, so we got it on easy mode and it was all pre-recorded. So what are we doing now? Because obviously the program does not last forever. So this is me and my team. We have great merch, as you can see. What have we done? We are profitable but bootstrapped. So we've grown, I think, 300% year on year for the last 5 years. We've grown our team to 14 amazing looking people. We've also won a bunch of awards, including one of 11 globally recognized Google Cloud Awards in our category. And I was a finalist for New South Wales Young Woman of the Year. So we've done a bunch of cool stuff. Thank you. But we do actually have some actual traction as well. So we've actually halved crashes on one of Sydney's busiest roads in a 12-month period. We measured road damage up in Lismore and helped to prioritise roads for repair and maintenance after the floods. And we also helped to map 20 million freight trips across Queensland to help prioritise where you can get freight efficiency upgrades. So if you make a road wider and you make the surface smoother, trucks go faster. And of course, I didn't actually intentionally wear this hoodie today. I came back from a trip from Brisbane for another speaking event, and I just happened to wear it. But this was actually, aside from all the awards, one of the proudest moments, I think, of my career or my life. And that was getting 50 very purple hoodies with embroidery, mind you. This is not screen printed. This is embroidered on the front, delivered to my apartment, which I ceremoniously dumped on the floor of my very small studio in St. Leonard's and did snow angels in. But I think one of the hardest lessons to learn as a startup founder is that innovation does not equal acceptance, because innovation by definitions means that you are challenging people to go against very long-standing status quos, and that is very, very difficult to do. So, you know, congratulations to all the startups here tonight, because by definition they will have to ask people to change behaviours, which is very difficult. And then the second most difficult thing to do is to get up and pitch and to talk about your value in a way that other people who have no idea what you do can understand that. Starting a startup is great, but it is also challenging and terrifying, and sometimes it is incredibly lonely. And I can probably see the INCUBATE team over there like, what is she doing? We're meant to encourage people to start businesses, not disturb them. Those things all might be true, but it's also one of the best things that I have ever done, because I'm doing things that I never thought that I would have the capability or the capacity to do, such as talking to all of you here very publicly. So be kind to your startup friends, and also for any startups present, be kind to the people that have to support you and listen to your weird harebrained schemes, like my boyfriend at the back who has to listen to me talk about work all the time. But yeah, it's not about me. It's about Class 18. So really just one last round of applause for them, and also for the Incubate team who are working behind the scenes to get everyone together, because I know that was a lot. Thank you.
Okay, we are running a little bit over time, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. This time last year, I was in McLaren Hall feeling pretty lonely because I was the only person in the Incubate team left. We had had a few long-term staff members leave, and we were at a crossroads. We had to make a decision whether we wither or whether we grow. So we decided to grow. First of all, we added Holly Hudson, our community manager, to the team. We added Kaiman Nguyen, our program manager for our pre-accelerator programs. And to help us integrate into the university, because we are now officially part of the University of Sydney and not on loan from the USU anymore, we added Nick Stevens to help us integrate within the university. We've done amazing things, and I love a good humble brag, but I'm also a former founder, and I only look to the future. So where are we now? We've already relaunched our Startup Fundamentals course, that commonly known as Proto. We relaunched to a cohort of 35. We re-accelerated our pre-accelerator programs. We went from delivering 2 a year to 6 a year. We have moved from 1 Incubate Accelerator program last year to 2 this year. We have inherited the management of 2 MOOCs, Coursera MOOCs, where we have, and this number has been updated since we made this slide last week, 115,000 people enrolled in our courses. And of course, we've grown our team. But the most important thing that really was the catalyst for the change at Incubate was understanding who we were and what we had to offer. And that is when we introduced our accelerator as a service product. Now, we had strong brand equity and we had world-class program delivery. So why not offer that to others? Our first pre-accelerator program partnership was with Investment New South Wales to encourage and build First Nations founders. And as you saw from Fran, we did a decent job. Our second partnership was with Arts Council of Australia. This was our digital arts accelerator, and it literally finished last week with 10 startups across Australia. But what's next? Always thinking about what's next. It irritates the startups at times. The Startup Year government initiative is still working its way through legislation, but for those of you who are not familiar, this will allow graduating students an extra year within the university so they can come and do a program like Incubate as part of their curriculum. I am proud to announce that Investment New South Wales have asked us to do another First Nations pre-accelerator this year. I'm not going to point them out, but we also have a few corporate and school partners in the audience here who are sussing us out to look at more specialized program streams next year. We plan to expand geographically, and no, I can't say anything more than that. And we will continue to look to expand our team to find complementary resources. I would like to say thank you to all of our Incubate partners, my counterparts, my colleagues, my friends in the EEE department. I completely forgot what that acronym means, but I think it's education, engagement, and enterprise. There you are. I would like to thank for their support my counterparts on the research side, the Sydney Knowledge Hub. I would like to thank the business school, and I'd like to thank anybody else who is in the Sydney Innovation Network. And now, for some final comments, Mr. Richard Miles.
Thank you very much. Now, I was warned that I'm only to speak for 2 minutes, so I better be quick. Look, if you listen to our critics, the end of the university is nigh. You know, I was reading something the other day saying 30 to 50 years before we all come to an end. You know, what's said about us? We're corporate juggernauts, we're self-indulgent, we're insular, and also that we're fundamentally disconnected from the society that we're meant to serve. Now, I think what we've seen tonight shows you that actually universities have a very bright future. because all the work we saw, it sort of epitomizes what I think universities will become. And it's what I call the activist university. It's universities which are really built around serving the communities around them. And we saw that with the sort of wonderful solutions that our founders are coming up with to solve sort of problems both big and small. And I just wanted to say something to the founders as well. Look, I'd like to salute your hard work and also your ingenuity, but also your sacrifice. And that's one of the things that people often don't talk about. That behind good ideas and good, strong businesses is always sacrifice. And it's not just the sacrifice of the founders, it's actually the people around them as well, their families, their friends, etc. So I think we should actually sort of give them a round of applause. And lastly, because he thanked everybody else in the world apart from himself, we'd better give a round of applause to David Smith.
I've thanked him like 4 times tonight. What do you mean? Thank you, everybody. I'm not going to keep you seated here for much longer, I promise. I just wanted to wrap this up by letting you know that if you would like to stay updated with what we're doing, if you are already not, please join our community newsletter. That's where we keep everybody updated on opportunities with our programs and partnerships. If you do want to email us about opportunities, you can do so here or come outside and chat to our team. I know our founders are waiting eagerly outside to talk to you guys, so I would like to invite you out to the exhibition space to chat to them. And to everybody on the live stream, thank you as well for joining us, and good night.